All right, so if you want to add a virtual classroom or Wimba collaboration session to your course shell, please complete the following actions. First, you want to make sure that you access a content area that students have access to as well. Firstly, we'll go over how to add a session in which you were planning on hosting synchronously, and then I will go over how you can add a session which you have archived. So in order to add a synchronous session that you want students to access, select Add Interactive Tool, and if you're going with the virtual classroom, select Virtual Classroom. Next, Create New Session. You can give the session a name. You could create a date restriction and make sure that you have it available for students. Select Submit and you'll be returned back to the previous page. So now what you'll do is you'll select that session you just created and select Next. You could change the link of the name if you'd like. You can offer students instructions. For example, when you'll be accessing the synchronous session, you can track number of views, you can set date restrictions once again, and hit Submit. Now the session that you want students to access at a certain date and time is available as a link that they can click on. As long as they have Java and their pop-ups enabled, Java uploaded and their pop-ups enabled, they'll be able to access the session with no problem. And for the sake of time, I'm going to X out of this. If you wanted to add a Wimba session because you're using Wimba instead of the virtual classroom, the steps are essentially the same. Enter a content area where you would like students to access the Wimba session. Select Wimba Classroom from Add Interactive Tool. Once again, you'd select Create New Room. Give the room a name. You could offer a description. I'd leave the privileges and all the settings as they are. Select Submit. You'll be returned back to the original page. Select the room that you just created. Select Submit. Select Submit. Select OK when you get your receipt. And now the Wimba session has been added. Again, students will click the link and be able to access. In order to add an archive session of either tool, let's start with the virtual classroom. Select Virtual Classroom. You would select Virtual Classroom Session and select the archive which you have created from the list. Select Next. Select Submit. Oh, looks like the name is too long. And now the archive is made available for students. If you want to add an archive of a Wimba session, once again select Add Interactive Tool, Wimba Classroom. From this bottom list, you want to select Archive. So make sure you've selected the radio dial for Select Archive. Choose the archived session that you'd like to include. Select Submit. Select Submit. Click OK for the Add Link receipt. And the archive session is available for students to access. Students will see when the archive session was created.